Okay, I'm going to move myself over to this bit here now and just make sure that this is all nicely set up. Okay, let's get going. Hello, how are you doing? On this week's episode, we're going to be talking about cats versus dogs. Which are better? Who cares? But I'm going to be talking about it anyway. Welcome to Owen's Oddyssey. First on the agenda, I wanted to talk about Ryan Garcia, He is a Mexican-American boxer who's going to be fighting this weekend, I believe. Let me just check this for a second. Sorry, I don't have my spectacles on me. Ryan Garcia. Let me see when he's fighting. Fucking glasses now. Ryan Garcia is fighting. Come on now, tell me. Garcia's erratic behaviour. Okay. We have an article on it here, hey. Hello, and you're very welcome to this week's episode of Owen's Oddyssey, a podcast where I take a deep dive onto the internet to look at stuff that you couldn't give two fucks about. First episode was last week, and we had a really, really good discussion. Please do check that out if you get a chance. We had a really good discussion about the 90s and what exactly it was about the 90s that made them oh so special in the eyes of so many people. Was it because they lived through the 90s? Was it because they've experienced some sort of music from the 90s? Or was it because they just find that it's very nostalgic and a lot of nice stuff happened, like Oasis, Simply Red, Spice Girls, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and so many more wrestlers and other stuff that happened, like music, television, Tom Hanks. We've talked about it all in the last podcast. Do check that out if you get a chance. I would love if you followed, liked and subscribed to me, because I'm lonely and I need the numbers to grow. Now, Ryan Garcia is fighting this weekend. This is the first thing we're going to talk about tonight, and we're going to talk about the headlines as well across the world later on. Plus, I'll be answering some of the statements that you've sent in to me, and I really do appreciate that. Get in touch if you want to send anything in to me, owencollie@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you, and you can send me a message anytime, and I mean absolutely anytime, because I have the phone beside the bed, and I will be checking it. On the hour, every hour, I will be checking my phone, so feel free to send me a message whenever you want. I will answer that straight away. And if you want, we can take things further. And by that I mean develop a friendship. No, nothing dodgy on the internet with me. Anyways, Ryan Garcia is fighting against, what's this guy's name? Sorry, now I'm blind as a bat, that's why I'm squinting here. Devin Haney. Now, the reason why this keeps coming up in my Instagram algorithms, which is the complete biggest load of bollocks, the algorithms, you're looking at them and like, what is this? Is this me now? That I like to watch boxers, messy, and bums. And that's all I'm saying about that. And sometimes the algorithms, I'm wondering which way they're bringing stuff to me. Maybe I don't want to see this stuff, but maybe the algorithms are like, we know how to corner this fella through various video manipulation. And I enjoy it. I'm not going to lie to you. I like to stay up late on the phone scrolling. And this is what's coming up quite a bit now. Ryan Garcia, he's been saying some crazy stuff. They did a bit of a standoff as well on the top of, I believe, the Empire State Building, which is over there in New York City. And the two of them squared off, and Devin, the other guy, who's a bit more chilled, he's a bit more relaxed. His father's his coach. Garcia said something to him about his mother, and he was like, why are you talking about my mother? They got right up in each other's face, and your man pushed. Ryan Garcia pushed him. And people were like, whoa. And Garcia was like, I don't care, he had no top on. He was looking pretty muscular, but he's looking a bit all over the shop at the moment, and you'd wonder, what's the point of all this situation? Are we watching this as maybe like a cockfighting scenario, where we're looking at two cocks fighting, but at the end of the day, the cock will suffer? Or is it just going to be a good boxing match and he's selling it? And that's the way things go now. That you have to maybe go crazy to sell stuff and rage, show a bit of rage. And when you show the bit of rage, you get the likes, you get the follows, you get the numbers, you get the shout, you get bums on seats, people are watching, and he doesn't care because he's in the ring going, sa, 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 sa. I believe the other fella's going to win, Devin Haney. I went through some of his records, I would say, and how he's getting on as a boxer. He's good. He's never lost a fight professionally. Ryan Garcia has lost one fight, lost the last fight, but he lost it against a very tough lad, Giante or something. I forget his name. He works for the other fella. The fella that McGregor fought that time. And he's coached by him. I'm awful bad for names. Let me see. M-C-R-E-G boxing. I should know this now, but I don't. Floyd Mayweather. I should have known that. I apologise. My knowledge of boxing is not great. I should have known that. I feel bad for that situation. But anyways, getting back to these two people. I was watching a few videos during the week and I saw Ryan Garcia talking to Oscar De La Hoya, who's a Mexican-American boxer. And he's very proud to be Mexican. Mexicans, as we know, some of the toughest boxers ever. Some of the best boxers in the world come from Mexico, Cuba, from Ireland, from Russia, and a few other spots that I can't think of right now. So Ryan Garcia is good. He's good. He's really good. But will he beat Devin Haney? Will he beat him? I'm betting you he won't. Come back to this video. Let me know if I was right or wrong. I guarantee you I will not be wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments below and I will do one challenge that you put to me. That could be doing an ice bath. It could be, what else could it be? So, something. Think of something. Ice cold bath. It could be, I've said that already. I'm not going to run down the street naked. Although you'd never know. You'd never know. Anyways, think of something and we'll see what happens in that fight. Now, coming up as well on this show, we're going to be talking about cats versus dogs and who's better. I think that personally, if I had to just like tell you now what I think off the top of this, and I'm going to go through a few different facts about cats and dogs and why I think dogs are better. I'll tell you why. I read this on the internet the other day. You die and a cat will eat you within an hour. Whereas a dog won't eat you. He'll just sit there looking at you. And I suppose some people would say, well, that's nice of the dog because he's very loyal, and the cat, well, it just goes to show you everything about the cat. The disloyalty of the cat. Where he would just eat you within the first hour. But he's not even cold, he's eating you. Not even cold, and the cat's all over you. Scratching away at your face. Probably starts off at your ears. Your nose. And he's nibbling away at you. But then, at the same time, there's the other argument that you could say, imagine you were in the house for 2 or 3 weeks, we'll say, and the cat had you fully eaten. Okay, number one now, at least you're living vicariously through the cat. The cat was being good shape, and you don't have to pay for the burial. So, in that sense, I would say there's a lot to be said for cats because you don't have to pay, as I said, to bury them, for the coffin, all that kind of stuff. So you are saving a fortune. Plus, you won't have to feed the cat for a while. I'll put it like that. But some people would say, nevertheless, dogs are more loyal. And I think there's a lot of truth to that as well. Because if you think about it, cats go off for days on end and they don't tell you where they're going. They just go. They don't care. And they're out catching mice and they're eating birds and spiders and God knows what they're doing. But they're out in the wild anyways, and they could be in towns and behind ditches and meowing from behind chairs and walls. And they're doing their thing because they're semi-domesticated. They can never be fully domesticated as far as I know. Whereas dogs are just like, you know what, we like it here. We're going to stick around and we don't want to be wandering the streets anymore. We're happy enough in the house or in a kennel eating our biscuits. And there's a lot to be said for that life too. And I admire both sides of the coin because the dog has it the right way too. We've got a dog there now. Well, my parents have one over the road and he's only a small fella. But he's beginning to like it. He's beginning to like it. He's beginning to enjoy just chilling out and sitting around the garden and realising that he doesn't have to ever work in his life. And there's a bit of a sheepdog in him. And there's a bit of a husky in him maybe. And normally those dogs, they like to be working. Like a sheepdog loves to work. But sometimes they don't work and they just sit around the garden all day. And they get to love it. And this dog is loving it. Whether that was a cat, he'd be gone. Out exploring. They've got this tendency to want to keep going exploring new places. And there's There's a lot to be said for that life too. But what I don't like about the cat, and I'm saying it here live now, what I do not like about the cat is that you can look after a cat, feed it, water it, shelter it, clean its poo out of its sandy box. People say they're so smart because they poo in sand. Big deal, I've been doing it for years. But you still have to take that outside the house, or else the landlord would throw you out. So you do all this for the cat, and then you open the window, the cat's gone. 2 days later, the cat hasn't come back. 3 days later, you begin to realise you've got feelings for the cat, and the cat still hasn't come back, and you start worrying. You're calling people up on the phone. I haven't seen the cat. When did you see him last? 3 days ago. He'll be fine. Cats can go outside for weeks. Some of them can. But then some of them you don't know. They might go too far into the city and they get lost. Like you never really see a cat in the city centre, the proper city centre. Or down a back road, you see the odd cat, but you wouldn't see too many. You see, they go far from the house, but they don't go too far. They know. I had a cat years ago and he left me for about a week. Came back, he was in an absolute mess. And I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. And he just comes into the living room for a while and he's fine and he's getting comfortable, getting warm again, starts drinking some milk, starts eating some biscuits. And before you know it, he's up dancing away. And they do this thing where it gives you such mixed signals, because one minute they're gone for 5 days, the next they're parading their arsehole in front of you and you're trying to watch something on the box. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? Like, what are you meant to do with that? Another thing as well that happened to me before with the cat, actually, now that I think about it, is don't want to be talking too crudely here, but I was doing the business and the cat walked into the room, saw it, stopped, took it all in. I had to stop, get the cat out of the room, and it created a weird tension for the next 3 or 4 days. A dog wouldn't do that because you'd hear him coming in the first place. Anyways, I won't get into it any more than that, but I do like cats and dogs. I do. I genuinely do. I've had cats in my life since I was 3 or 4 years of age. Dogs the same. But what do you think? Please do let me know in the comments below. Now, we're going to be talking about tea and who drinks the most tea in the world. I was having this debate with a Polish person recently, and they were saying that Polish people are the second biggest tea drinkers in the world. And I thought, from the confidence that he had, I thought maybe he was right. I checked online. It turns out that Irish people are actually the second biggest tea drinkers in the world after the Turkish. The Turkish tea consumption is 3.16 kgs. I don't know what that means per person, is it? Ireland is coming a close second at 2.19 kgs, and then behind them, United Kingdom, 1.94. So that to me doesn't make sense, though, because fair enough, Turkey drinks the most tea because the Turkish, they're a big country, they're a fine size, and you hear about them drinking plenty of tea, so that does make sense. Ireland, number 2, I get it, we love the tea as well. We do drink loads of tea. My mother drinks a lot of tea. She could go through a kettle a month. Let's put it like that. But United Kingdom then comes in number 3 here, 1.94 kg. But are you telling me that that's 3 countries, United Kingdom being, let's say, Scotland, Wales and England itself? That doesn't seem like so much. And then Pakistan comes in at 150, at a tie as well with Iran. And where's India? Where's India? I thought India were big into their tea. They're not even in the top 10. How is this? Chile number 9, Egypt number 10, Poland number 11. That's an interesting one. Because the way my friend was talking, he was telling me that Polish people drink loads of tea. And I believed him. And I shouldn't have believed him because he was lying through his teeth. But I actually followed up some of the Polish tea stuff because I would love to go out for a cup or two of Polish tea just to see what it's like. And I came across a website anyways that gives reviews on different places that make Polish tea in Ireland. And I came across this review the other day, and I have to say, You're going to enjoy this one. You're going to enjoy this one. This first comment, I'm not going to say the name of the place, but I just wanted to read out this comment because I thought it was interesting. 2 out of 5 stars. Worst ever is the title. Ordered a Caesar salad takeaway on Friday last. Asked for no onion, tomato or croutons. When I picked it up, went back to car, decided to open it. All that was in it was lettuce and bits chicken for $6.90. Went back, said to the waiter, "Did you see what you gave me? There's no bacon in it." He took back to the kitchen to where I heard a chef say, "That's extra." So he brought the food into the chef and the chef goes, "That's extra." The waiter came back. He said, "We have changed our menu." So they changed the menu in that short amount of time that the waiter had gone into the kitchen. Waiter came back. He said, "We have changed our menu." I don't know what that means. I said I got the same before for sit down with bacon and grapes. Who's eating bacon and grapes? Who in the hell is eating bacon and grapes? This is meant to be a tea shop and people are in there ordering sandwiches. This makes no sense. This is a specific shop for tea. Well, it's not a specific shop for tea, but this is just a place that sells tea. But this person was going in to get a Caesar salad with some bacon on it, tomatoes, croutons, all that stuff. And all he got was bacon and grapes. How did they get that one mixed up? He then asked, "Did I want a free tea or coffee?" This is what the waiter said. "Do you want a free tea or coffee?" That was his way of dealing with the situation. Well, you didn't get what you wanted in the food. Would you like a cup of tea or coffee? That makes no sense. I suppose it is a tea shop though, so maybe that's why he was mentioning the tea. And I think, now that I'm saying it, I know we were talking before about cats versus dogs. Tea versus coffee is a different kettle of fish altogether. Because the way things are gone, even now I'm drinking coffee. And I could drink 2 or 3 coffees a day. And yet, there's a world of tea out there that we don't know about. A world of tea. There's teas that can give you all sorts of feelings. Teas that can give you better kicks than a coffee. Teas that can turn you on. Teas that can turn you off. Teas that can get you worked up. Teas that can relax you. Chamomile. All sorts of teas. And maybe we need to dip more into the teas. That's all I'm saying. But big shout out to Poland. Big up yourself, Poland. Big shout out from Ireland. We love you. And we love that you drink tea. Maybe someday we can combine our worlds to make some of the best tea ever and get that number 1 spot off Turkey. Although Turkey does make good tea as well. Now, Fabrizio Ravanelli thinks he's great. That's the headline in the latest paper. This is the sports of the week. Fabrizio Ravanelli, this is a quote, direct quote from the Silver Fox himself, an amazing performer who played for Middlesbrough, played for Juventus, scored about 50 goals a season. This guy was a top dog and he performed at the highest level, and he's got all the reason in the world to have this kind of confidence. Add to that, he's Italian, he's got a nice slender frame, he knows where the goal is, and this is a man who stands out in the minds of Middlesbrough fans. Not just Juventus, but Middlesbrough, when they were hitting this, I don't know what you'd call it, but it was like an apex of excitement where we had Emerson, we had Ravanelli, and we had, who else? Oh, what was his name? Jehovah or something like that. Georgie Junior or something like that. His name is, I forget what his name is, but he played for Middlesbrough during this crazy period with Middlesbrough. For some reason, they were signing some of the best players ever. And they were very exciting to watch. And Fabrizio Ravanelli led the front line and he'd score goals and he'd take off. He wouldn't take off his top, but he'd pull it over his head and he'd go like this. Yes. And he was pure Italian in the way he went on as well. He'd be drinking coffee at half time. And he's a legend of the game. But he said this quote. This is the quote of the week, if you ask me. "I don't want to be pretentious, but I'd score 60 goals a season now. Middlesbrough legend on the modern game and his coaching ambitions. Fabrizio Ravanelli thinks defenders are worse now than when he played football. He's also got a lot of time for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Teddy Sheringham and Andy Cole." Let's go off of that first statement there. Fabrizio Ravanelli thinks defenders are worse now than when he played. He might have a point. Now, we do have this thing that we always look back with rose-tinted glasses, but it's hard to go against the likes of Nesta, Maldini, Jaap Stam, Gary Pallister And this thing that came in the post for me the other day, this is a little model. If you're only listening to the audio here, I bought, for some reason, I was on eBay the other day, and I don't even know why I did this. But you know when you're at the laptop and you've got this sort of thing about you where you're like, I just want to get shit. I just want to buy crap. It's like when you go into town and you go into Mr. Price. You're like, I just want to buy like a pen or something like that, or a rubber. Well, this is exactly what happened to me the other day when I went online eBay, and I'd been watching somebody else talking, and I noticed that behind them they had a little statue, not of a footballer, but it was a little toy that they had. And I said, you know what, I'm going to get one of those. And I went online to eBay and I bought this little Steve Bruce doll. And I don't know what to do with it. I'm just going to stink it down there. But the reason why I bought it was because Steve Bruce was like a second father to me growing up. Himself and Gary Pallister were the two faces that I'd see every morning before I even got out of the bed. Not because they were at my house, but because I had posters of them on my wall. And they were the kind of defenders that were around back in those days. Big, strong, solid men who didn't like you getting past them. And if you did, they were going to let you know about it. 6'4", built like brick shithouses. A lot of them were. Working class men with a lot to do on the pitch and even more to do after. Liked a few drinks, but didn't take themselves too seriously. And nowadays you have slender defenders. You have players like Ben Fogan. He plays for Man City. And he's good, but he could nearly be a left winger, that fella. He's a nippy. If you've ever seen him, or if you've never not seen him, or not, that doesn't even make sense. If you have never seen him, Ben Fogan, I'd advise you to go onto YouTube and watch some of his skills, because he's got a lovely touch. Lovely touch. He's like the kind of fella you would have seen back in the 90s playing a bit of street football or indoor soccer, and he would have been very good at AstroTurf. He would have been very, very good at AstroTurf. That's all I'm saying about him. Now, going back to Ravanelli, he wants... What does he want now? Ravanelli says he now wants to coach and is happy to manage in lower league. The thing I like about Ravanelli is that he's got the confidence of an Italian man, which is necessary for nearly everybody. You see Italian men. I'm not sure about all Italian men. I don't really know that many of them. I don't know any, really, except for the ones I meet in Chippers. But anyone you hear about online, Zola, Baggio himself, Totti, Julius Caesar, all these people, they just seem like they were super confident people. And Ravanelli is one of those people. Maldini, Nesta, all the greats, Italians, the best footballers in the world. They have to be the best. If you don't think they're the best, go on YouTube right now and type in Gianfranco Zola scores a goal with the inside of his shoe and see what comes up in that video. The goal that he scored was as cheeky as his face. And Ravanelli has got plenty, I think he's got plenty of right to be saying here what he's saying. He said he'd score about 60 or 70 goals a season now. That's how good he is. And he was looking at Roman Lukaku with his son. And Ravanelli's son basically was saying to Ravanelli, I don't know what his first name is, Fabrizio. He said, Fabrizio, have you seen how much Lukaku's gone for? 65 million. And Ravanelli couldn't get over that. He thought that was crazy money. And he started thinking about it. And he goes, you know what? If I was playing right now, I'd be getting 60 or 70 goals a season, and I'd probably get sold for 100 million quid. What do you think about that? Do you think that Ravanelli was good enough? Do you think that the standard of football is better now? Please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Now, I asked you there during the week to send me in some things that you know about cats or dogs, and these are the messages that you sent in to me. Fergus87 says, dog spies on next door's cat. He's a crafty cunt, up to no good, trying to make trouble in the neighbourhood. Seamus Mahoney 303 says, not all cats love the Jingle Triangle song. A dog from Limerick invented the catchphrase programme. I don't know what that means. Ray Kelly says, when cats leave a dead mouse at the back door, it's not for attention or a treat. It's to show humans how easy it is to catch mice, and also because cats are cunts. You can't argue with that logic. Madras says they're humble and can tell a lot about humans from the vibe of the hands. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that completely. Let me see. Dylan, you know yourself, says if a cat grows up with a dog, it will wag its tail when it's happy instead of sad or confused. Jeez, I never knew that. That's crazy. It makes sense though, because you're so affected by what you look at all the time. And it's got to be going into your psyche somewhere, even if you're a cat and you're hanging out with dogs. It was like that documentary that I saw one time about a child that was raised by wolves. And they tried to assimilate her back into society, but she could only eat the dinner on the ground. For some reason, I do not know, she lived about the first 9 years of her life with wolves. Got on very well. She was a bit rough looking, but worked out fine in the end. I think she works in a bank now. And that's all that I know about that anyway. But let me see what else. Cats and dogs share an arsehole, okay? Jermid says, I'm not actually allergic to cats. I just tell people that because I got bit by one when I was a pup. That's the thing about cats, yeah, they could go for you. The Kelly fella. Dogs are martyrs for beer. Pour any amount of beer into their bowl and they'll finish it all in one go. Yeah, but I don't know, do you want to be giving away beer, especially with the price of it now, and to a dog who wouldn't appreciate it, because if he starts drinking, he can't drive. Luke Mull, all cats can speak Japanese. You'd kind of think they could when you see them. I don't know what it is about the Japanese and cats, but is there a connection about those? Is there something there? Did the cat come from Japan? Marcus Orchelius says dogs don't actually like dogging. It's a very select few that do like dogging. I was thinking about that the other night when I was in bed actually. What's the story with dogging really when you think about it? How did that start? How did it start that someone was in their car and they thought, you know what, I'm horny? Would they not just go home? But no, they thought, you know what, I'm going to pull into a car park, see what happens. And then they must have hopped into someone else's car, unless they had it pre-planned. But there had to be people that were the first people to go dogging. And they had to have a lot of confidence to think, we're going to pull this off. No one else has been doing it. We're going to pull it off. I'll meet you up at the car park tonight. They obviously had to have 2 cars, I suppose, or maybe one car pulled up and someone got into the car and then they didn't know whose car it was. And then the two of them said, well, you're in the car now, do you want to talk? And then that led to the next thing. Or maybe there was a collection of people that met up and decided to go dogging together. Anyway, we're going to move on from that. When a cat winks at you, it's them saying they love you. No, I never knew that, Lorna. Thank you for that now. Katie says, my cat's a prick. They can be. I'm going to read 1 or 2 more now. Dogs drink by curling their tongue backwards into a scoop. Joodles. Yes, Joodles. Thank you for that. Hedgehogs eat dog shite. Thank you. I'm the SB for that too. Really appreciate all of those messages that came in. Thank you very much for getting in touch. And if you want to get in touch with any more messages, I'm going to read out one more because this one is good. This one is a good one. This was sent in to me by a fella called, we'll call him Ash for this story. He said, good to hear you're back talking shite. I thought it was a nice little talk about the 90s gone by. Check out the last episode, please. I don't have any major questions for any future episodes, but after seeing Hardy books and other stuff, I'm a big fan. Thank you very much. The one thing I was thinking about was how yourself and maybe people of all walks of life that you know in the west of Ireland feel about the English. Watching the Hardy books got me watching a whole other load of Irish stuff. And even when I was a younger growing up Catholic, we never knew much about the Irish or any differences and similarities. But growing older, from my perspective, it seems to me that we're not all that different. We share a lot of similar humour and perspectives on life in general. That's why I was wondering what people over there think of the English. Cheers. Well, you see, we have plenty of friends in England. Plenty of friends all over the world. Plenty of friends who are Catholics, Protestants, Muslims, Jewish people, all sorts of people from all over the world. We love them all. And what I will say to you is this. Come over. We'll go for a walk, myself and yourself. And we'll have a couple of packets of crisps. Get to know each other. And we'll figure out what's going on. Me and you. And we'll walk down some fields, back fields. And I'll say, look at that land over there. See that horse? See the way that horse is galloping across that land? Look at him go. And we'll walk down to the field, myself and yourself. I'll hop on top of the horse. I was like, you getting on, yeah? You'd be like, I've never been on a horse before. I said, there's a first time for everything. Now get on. And you'll hop on the horse. and I'll hold its mane, and you put your arms around me, and I'll go across the fields and go, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'll be galloping across fields and rivers and lakes, and you'll be like, are you sure this is safe? I was like, don't you worry about safety now. Yeah, yeah. I would just put my hand gently on the horse's ass. Yeah, yeah. And we'll be flying, and then we'll just end up in town, myself and yourself. We'll go for a couple of pints of Smithwick's. And we'll just shoot the breeze, and we'll see if we get on well together. And if we do, that's the main thing. If we get on, that's the main thing, in the moment. You said, though, you grew up a Catholic. Yeah, well, the difference between a Catholic and a Protestant is, I suppose, it's the difference between a swan and a goose. Thank you very much for watching this week. I really do appreciate it. And please do check out some of the gigs that I have coming up. I'd love to see you there. Futuristic Farmer is the name of the new tour. And I hope to see you on the road. And I hope you're doing well. Chat to you soon. Don't forget to give me an email if you want to chat. Thanks for watching.